Welcome, ladies and gentlemen. My name's Dychronic, host here on this Destiny 2 video, and today we're going to be taking a look at the Destiny 2 reset for October 27, 2020. So everything that has reset in the week, to the special events, to all the normal stuff, we're going to be talking about in this video. First and foremost, Festival of the Lost is on its last week. It's the last opportunity to get everything for the Festival of the Lost. You still have to get those mummy-wrapped whatevers from Eva Levante, like I actually still have to do them. You have literally, this is the last week to do that, as well as everything else, so make sure you spend all of your resources before the end of the event. And with that, obviously, all of the cosmetics from Eververse and everything that is entailed with the weekly reset, and of course the end of the event. And this week we also have increased Valor. So if you wanted to get Valor resets for whatever reason, it is going to be double and triple Valor during this week. And as a friendly reminder, our season is almost at the end. We have 2 more weeks left in Season of Arrivals, so any of the seals that you have left to get and any of the things that are locked behind this season, including MMXIX, the current Conqueror, the current Flawless, the Arrivals Forerunner seal, anything that is specifically tied to this season and will not be available next season, So personally, I've got a few Forsaken campaign missions to do. I'm still in utter disbelief that this triumph is 500 waves of Altars of Sorrows. That is ridiculous. Moving on with the regular weekly reset, starting off with the Nightfall Ordeal. The Ordeal this week is going to be Lake of Shadows. Unfortunately, we do not have the double Ordeal rewards this week like we were hoping to have again, because it was such an easy strike to do over and over again. But this week, Lake of Shadows is not really that hard of a strike. The boss is very cheesable with a bubble and a bunch of sword hits, and 100k on 150 is pretty straightforward. And the modifiers are Overload and Unstoppable, my least favorite. And just as a reminder, if you wanted to do the Grandmaster Nightfalls for this deal, you can still do literally every single one of them until the end of the season. So if you have a specific one you need to do, you can do that before the end of the season. The regular Nightfalls include Exodus Crash, Arms Dealer, and the Scarlet Keep. For the Heroic modifier, as well as a lot of other modifiers, we have Arcsinge this week. As for the rotating Crucible playlist, we have Clash, which is just a team deathmatch, and we have Showdown, which just don't play it. For Reckoning this week, the boss is going to be the Swords. Everything available during the Swords week is available this week on any of the difficulties you can get to the Swords, and of course the modifier is Arcsinge. As for the Flashpoint, this week it will be taking place on the EDZs. So completing public events, lost sectors, and heroic adventures. To complete this very quickly, what the hell is this? I've completed all of mine. Oh, this is just the heroic for the Flashpoint. I was gonna say I've completed all of them on my Titan. For Escalation Protocol this week, it will be all 3. Last week was all 3, and next week will be the infamous Shotgun. For the Menagerie this week, it will be Arnuk, the Big Ogre, obviously the easiest boss fight, as well as the easiest heroic difficulty. For the regular mode, obviously we have Arcsinge. I said a lot of things do line up on Arc, but for the heroic mode, we have Extinguish, Grenadier, which is a positive modifier, Famine, and Solar Singe, making it the easiest heroic boss. And this is going to be the last time you'll ever see Arnuk. So for whatever reason, if you need some triumphs or something with Menagerie and you still need Arnuk, this is the last possible opportunity before Nessus gets swallowed whole in the next DLC. This is the end of the line, people. Some of these things are just going away. Moving on to the moon stuff. First up with the Nightmare Hunts, we have things like Omnigul, Fanatic, and Crota. None of these are really that easy. I think maybe the Fanatic is going to be your best bet for the easiest possible one, but again, none of them are really that easy. For the Garden of Salvation raid, the challenge this week is 0 to 100. It's going to be taking place in the final encounter, the boss fight, and in this encounter, whenever you dunk motes at each of the relays, you have to dunk all 30 motes pretty much back to back. So you have to have 3 people with 10 motes and do all 3 back to back. And this is for each different relay, so you can do them separately, just each one has to be all 30 at once. There's some special strategies and some glitches you can do, so just look up a guide online. Moving on to Eververse's inventory, showing everything that she does have for Bright Dust, as well as a bit of a perusal through some extra items as well. Again, this is the last opportunity to get any one of the event items. So if you really want a certain event item, for example, if you want to use your Bright Dust on a certain set of armor, this is the last opportunity for you to do that. And again, you can also get past armor sets as well, which obviously I have both on my Titan, that you can also purchase as well for the same price, 1,500 or 6,000 Bright Dust. It's going to be, showing if you don't own the whole set. Anyways, let's go ahead and take a look at the Bright Dust options. For example, the Spell of Abolition. I don't really know what this is. This reminds me of some type of media. Is this like a Dragon Ball Z thing? I don't know what this is, but it's an interesting dance. You got yourself a speed demon omni-telemetry shell. That's actually pretty cool because it's got electricity on it. You've got some cool things like the ghost projections. I gotta say, ghost projection has been one of the most useless things Bungie has added to this game. I almost always completely forget it exists. You've got the Skele Gull. Wow, that actually looks... Wow, okay. I'm pleasantly surprised that it actually looks pretty good on this, and I can see the Dire Promise has a little gold section right there. Okay. Not what I thought it was gonna be, because there's literally no gold in the picture, but that's pretty cool. For the, oh yeah, baby! For the other Bright Dust section, you've got things like the Ghastly Durance, which is a pretty cool emote. I definitely like it. It might actually be infinite. It does look like it's actually infinite. You've got the Summoning Ritual, which is pretty straightforward. You've got these Spider's Mask, so you can change your Halloween mask to look like Spider, which I think looks really cool. Love the spider arachnid body on the back of that headpiece. You got the Jensen Relic Shell, which is going to be a speed demon public defender. Okay, but I personally love Guiding Light. You also got that cool-ass Necro Beast Sparrow, which is, you know, custom drive, fastest possible thing, and you can keep getting random rolls until you get your instant summon, and it shoots like black flames out of the back. You also got this other ship here, 3 to 8, pretty straightforward. We've seen this model. This is actually a Destiny 1 model. You got other things like Ghost Projection, Transmit Effect. I highly recommend you get the Arachnophile, especially if you got some friends who are afraid of spiders. The Skull Knot's also kind of cool. You got a couple other shaders. I recommend the I recommend the Basalt Toxic specifically for weapons. Sometimes they look pretty cool. Some armor pieces also look pretty cool. And everything else is going to be pretty straightforward. Do you guys remember 2 years ago where Bungie released like a PDF of creating your own mask in real life of like the chicken mask, the Colonel Chicken mask, where it was like, all right, so here's your cardboard, here's where you cut, here's how you fold, and they gave us an entire guide. Oh, that was so cool. I never did it, but I wanted to do it. This mask would be a nightmare. Look how many different folds and bits there are to... That would just be a nightmare.
You think you know nightmares? Just because you do them nightmare hunts, you haven't seen nothing yet.
And finally, Soraya Hawthorne, her inventory, her last dance, her weekly raid challenges. Let's do it. First and foremost, for the Last Wish raid, we have Witch. This is going to be taking place in the second encounter during Shadowkeep. This is probably the hardest in the raid. You basically cannot get hit by her regular ball attack, which has weird AoE. Even if it doesn't hit you, it thinks it hits you, and the challenge fails all the time. For the Scourge of the Past, the very last opportunity to get all for one, one for all. This can be taking place in the first part of the boss area, but not the boss fight itself. And in this encounter, every single person in the crew has to dunk all 3 of the different colored buffs at least once before killing the boss. And finally, for Crown of Sorrows, again, the last possible opportunity to get total victory, again in the first part of the boss area, but not the boss fight itself. Total Victory tasks you with breaking the Deception Shield 5 times before killing the Deception every time you do DPS. Restraint is the name of the game in Total Victory. You ever think to yourself, you just really want a hug and then your hair explodes in fire? No? Just me? Okay, well. Anyways, that is going to be pretty much the end of the video. Make sure you come check out my live streams that I have right after these reset videos. Today, we might either do Solo Flawless Prophecy, we might do a raid, we might do some Forsaken story missions, I don't know. We're going to have some open lobbies for stuff that we do have the space for, obviously. So come check it out. We do have a lot of fun. But yeah, that's the end of the video. Hope you guys did enjoy. My name has been Dychronic, and I will see you guys on the next one.